Hello everyone, my name is PrezWaste and welcome to this review of the first episode of Resident Evil Revelations 2. Like I said, this will be a review of the first episode because the full game isn't out yet, so let's get to it. So Resident Evil Revelations 2 takes place between Resident Evil 5 and 6. That's between the outbreak in Africa and between the things which are happening all over the world in Resident Evil 6. You are playing as Barry Burton and Claire Redfield. Claire is known as one of the main characters in Resident Evil 2 and the main character in Resident Evil Code Veronica X, while Barry Burton has a support role in Resident Evil 1 and a bit of a cameo, I guess, in Resident Evil 3. So people have been complaining a long time that Barry Burton doesn't have his own game. Well, here you have it. Resident Evil Revelations 2, Barry Burton is one of the main characters and you get to play as Barry Burton even during the first episode. Although you play as fan favorites as Claire Redfield and Barry Burton, there are other support roles as well. There's a young kid called Natalie and Barry Burton's daughter, Moira. And those two characters are actually with Claire or Barry the entire time, which means you are actually allowed to play this game split screen. Offline, however, not online. That being said, the split screen or the co-op mode is kind of lackluster, to be honest, because the one who's playing the supporting role can't even fire a gun, because it's a little girl and Moira has something against guns for some reason. So you can't even use weapons except for melee weapons, and you're just going around really pointing at things for the main character to see additional treasure and stuff, so the co-op is a little lackluster. That being said, I did enjoy that added co-op since it was missing in the first game, and Resident Evil, let's face it, it's really a co-op game now, so whatever. But if we're talking about other gameplay stuff, it's pretty much the same as the first Revelations. If you play that one, you can collect custom parts for your weapons and put them onto your weapon, which adds fire rate, damage, etc, etc. If you bother with going around exploring throughout the world. And there are actually some dark moments during the first episode. It feels like the game has just put them down there to try to scare you, but it works at some points, I guess. I did actually quite jump, but it's because of kind of cheap jump scares, so it's kind of a positive thing and a negative thing at the same time. But as you're venturing forth as Barry trying to find Claire and Moira, or as Claire and Moira trying to get out of the place, you will actually find some scary stuff. So that's a positive thing for the Resident Evil series, and this a positive thing for Revelations, since the first one was described as kind of actually returning to the horror genre. This is trying to extend that hand, I guess. And if we're talking about graphics, the graphics aren't too much to brag about, but it looks like Capcom went for smoothness instead of the game just looking nice. So it runs at steady 60 frames per second on the PS4 at least. So that's a very good thing. So when talking about scores, it's kind of hard to predict what this game will be, since I've only played one episode out of 4 because there's only one episode released yet. So, but it feels like Revelations 1 gameplay wise, except for there is multiplayer, and that they're trying to make it even more scary than Revelations 1. But like I said, it feels kind of tacked on, and the co-op mode has some negative sides to it as well, since you're not playing a full-on character which can use weapons and stuff. So it's kind of hard to give this game a score, but my predictions right now is 6.57 area-ish. It could bump up, it could bump down, it's not easy to say. The story feels okay. Like I said, you're Barry, you're looking for your daughter, which is missing. And Claire went missing with your daughter, so you're playing two sides of the story. But we will just wait and see. At least that's my opinion right now, 6.57-ish. So, but that's just an impression of the game. But anyways, YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and or comment. I really appreciate that, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Stay awesome.